You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning.
Yes. Can you hear me now? Hey, man. What can I say? We made it through another one, another night, and we're here, ready for another week, ready for another moon cycle. Just in this observation of the astrological energy, it is the Hood Mystic representing hoodmystic.com, columbianexchange.com, mama_mystic 911. Just want to say before I start this, Be sure to follow my wife on Instagram. Check out the interview she did this past weekend. Powerful goddess mother stuff. She had an interview with one of my favorites, a name with no value, or Ish, or Tanisha. However, names are unimportant, but the story is powerful. I just want everybody to, tap into my wife's Instagram page, and peace to everybody. Shout out to y'all, man. Happy to be here. This is Hood in the Morning. The title of this episode is going to be Going the Extra Mile on the Road Less Traveled. Okay? The things that we'll be talking about today, we're going to get into this Oshun and Obatala energy. Shout out to you, Urban Wealth, for joining the Squidod, right? Appreciate all of the new subscribers. I know that it's not easy to tap in and tune into my content, so if you made it here thus far, you must have been doing something well and good in life, because this is for the rich people, this is for the spiritually wealthy, this is for the healers, this is for the magicians, this is for the sorcerers, this is for the warlock, this is for the witches, this is for all of the spiritual beings having human experiences, but sometimes the spiritual beings is now having spiritual experiences because we that tapped in. So Columbian Exchange is the I don't know, I was about to say clothing website, but that's just me and my wife's store. We sell books out of there, we sell herbs out of there, we sell womb steams out of there. I gotta get my wife on here to break down the difference between a yoni, a pussy, right, a vagina, and a womb, and try to show you the difference of her product versus what's on the market, because it's different when you getting your yoni washed and your yoni steamed and you're making good love at night, but it's a whole nother vibration when you healing your womb energy. Meaning that energy where your baby gonna sit at for 9 months. Have you cleaned out that closet? My wife can help you. Once again, Instagram, mama_mystic911. Yeah, I've been going through some changes, y'all. I've been going through some ups and downs, some flips and flops. And I'm here today to take this shit seriously. You understand what I'm saying? I'm here today to go the extra mile on the road less traveled. So there is an intention behind this content. I want you to enjoy yourself. I want you to expand your mind. I want you to open your mind. Maybe even close your mind a little bit. Maybe your mind is too open, right? But overall, I want you to get really deep into the fact that you're a spiritual being, because I feel honestly and personally, without a shadow of a doubt, that I'm the only one putting out content. Not the only one putting out content, but yeah, maybe the only one putting out content speaking specifically to your soul. I don't care if they come with guns. I don't care if they come with vaccines. I don't care if they come with all that they can come with. You are a spiritual being, and they can never defeat your non-physicalness, right? And the energy towards your physical body, how could we begin to engage in our physical bodies in a more loving, caring, spiritual, intimate way? So instead of Mercury retrograde, which everybody is going to be talking about, we are going to cross title it and call it Ecstasy retrograde. Okay, we are bringing ecstasy back into our relationships. We are bringing ecstasy back into our understanding of what's available on this plane of existence, because for so long, believe it or not, we forgot that ecstasy even existed, but we're bringing it back this morning on Hood in the Morning, a Hood in the Morning exclusive, right? Ecstasy. And of course, we'll tie it all in with going the extra mile on the road less traveled, because we're not going the regular road, right? And because you're not going the regular road, that don't mean that you can kick your feet up. You might have to work harder than the person that's working at their 9 to 5. You might have to work at your 9 to 5 plus, right? Because you're going the extra mile on the road less traveled, and sometimes we forget about that. So let me just be your weekly reminder, and also remember peace and love. So before we get into the build, I wanted to kind of break things up. Did something different. I wanted to initiate and bring about this ecstasy current. And so Spirit told me, go ahead and make a beat. Go ahead and sample some stuff. I ain't made a beat in a long time, and it ain't mixed, it ain't mastered. I ain't putting no lyrics on it. But it felt good to make a beat and really just tap into the energy of the frequency of ecstasy. And between that, I put a little video together, a little abstract creative, just flexing my creative muscles for your personal enjoyment. So after this little short video introduction, give me some feedback. Should I make more beats? Should I do more videos like this? Or, just keep speaking? But without further ado, here goes the intro, guys. And thank you guys for tuning in and tapping in with me this morning. It's going to be a wonderful, excellent talk for the spiritual beings. And I'm imagining that was no sound. So let me, you know how everything is when everything be. Or maybe it was sound and I didn't hear no sound. Let me run that back. That back. Well, you know how things are. Trying to. Oh, it was sound. Y'all heard sound? Okay, I'm gonna play the video from beginning because, okay, my thing is delayed, so I'm gonna do it again with the sound and start the show.
You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning.
Experiments, man. You know how those things are. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But it's all live and we can talk. So, like I said, quick overview on what we will be discussing today. I've been really sitting on this, not necessarily sitting on this message, but as you will see as I kind of break these things down, how they came up was just strictly based upon astrological understandings. And let me see. The world is not as dangerous because of those who do harm, but because of those who look at it without doing anything. So we're really tuning and tapping into the Piscean energy, right? We're tapping into the Obatala frequency with the waning gibbous moon and Capricorn, and just giving you kind of like an overview based upon how I see it. But ultimately, you take it with a grain of salt and understand how you could then apply these messages, if they resonate, into your everyday waking existence. And like Wu said, it is a great rising, it is a beautiful morning, and hopefully your mindset is centered on that. And we do have Mercury retrograde and Oshun energy, as you will see as we break down the chart, because Mercury will be in the third decan of sidereal Taurus, and that card that rules that decan is the Seven of Dis. Now, if we translate the Seven of Dis in the Voodoo Tarot Pantheon, that's where you get that Oshun energy, okay? And that's where we tap into the Ecstasy retrograde. And I'm sure nobody wants to talk about ecstasy within their relationships. They want to talk about the money, and they want to talk about how everything looks. But when we tap into the pleasure and the ultimate of expressions down in the 3D, I'm sure y'all want to deal with it, but I'm here for it. I'm here to talk about it, here to inspire the conversations within your relationships, to say, hey, are you in a space of ecstatic energy, or are you outsourcing your ecstasy through all these various modalities? But we'll get into it. All right. And then we're going from Mars trine Neptune. We'll be discussing the energy of Mars conjunct the energy of Pollux. That is a fixed star of Gemini, and it is exact trine to Neptune as it transits into Pisces, where it is ruled. And so these are things that we really need to understand in the reference of spiritual energy. When you're talking about Neptune's in Pisces, that is big mama energy, coming home, cooking Sunday dinner. And generally is what you are preparing is what you're going to actually digest on the spiritual level. Now, I say all of that to say most people don't know spiritual energy and spiritual direction from a hole in the wall. So we're here to bring about some personal alignment, bringing about your soul, and understanding that everything that is referenced here is within you. Okay, nothing for which I'm going to talk about in this next hour or so will require you to go buy a lot of shit, right? Spend a lot of money. These things are so important, and they cost absolutely nothing. We're talking about establishing deep and powerful conversations. And let me digress, because I meant to say this earlier and it's ironic, but please, oh please, oh please, with all of my heart and might and soul, if y'all don't do nothing, please watch the video yesterday that Dreamwise, Mama Mystic, Iman, D-Ray, Mook, and Savvy did yesterday. I know you probably overlooked it because, you know, Kwame Brown was on or some shit like that. But please, oh please, listen to that episode. I promise you it's going to be the quickest 2 hours in your life, because that's what it felt like when we was a part of it. Such a wonderful conversation about things that, you know, never ever get talked about, but the goddesses held it down. Shout out to Dreamwise. And let me reiterate and double back in progress, I will be on Sunday service this upcoming Sunday. So get your popcorn ready, get your notebooks ready, get your blunts ready, get everything ready, because it is going down. You know how it is when the 823 I'm so excited I can't even talk, right? You know how it is when the 823 gods get together. It's possible that things will get real viral and real crazy. So be sure to tune in and tap in. Let's show out for the Dreamwise family this Sunday. I need everybody that rock with me to rock with Dreamwise. Listen to the episode that was yesterday, because it was such a powerful, such a cathartic episode where you could tell a lot of shit was released, a lot of downloads were shared, and gosh, man, this spiritual energy is real. So once again, we're going to close this entire concept out. We're going to combine 3 concepts today. We're going the extra mile on the road less traveled, and we're establishing ecstasy in our relationships. We're establishing ecstasy in our professional life. We are establishing ecstasy in our everyday existence, because why not, right? We always talk about gods, right? But what do gods receive? Do gods receive money? Because last time I checked, you did not have to be spiritual to get a lot of money. Last time I checked, you wasn't spiritual to get a lot of sex. So ultimately, there has to be a deeper understanding of these relationships, of everything that we've been saying. And I'm so fortunate and grateful to be that bridge to the next level, at least the understanding for me. So yeah, man, I want to start this conversation out with the fact that everybody is spiritual. And when you say everybody is not spiritual, everybody don't say Hotep, everybody don't meditate, everybody don't listen to Hood Mystic and Dreamwise and get readings and things of that nature. They be out in the club, they be drinking, they be smoking, they be doing drugs, they be having sex at the hotel rooms, Hood. They not spiritual. But what if I told you before criminals, before crime, before seedy hotels, before all of this society was placed upon us, the drug users was the shamans? Meaning that the spiritual energy is deeply tied to the drugs. And we'll finish the conversation off with kind of proving this point and hopefully getting you guys tuned in and tapped in to ritualistic love making, to ritualistic sex, and ritualistic drugs. Because I not overindulging, not getting high every week, every day, all day, but doing things with a purpose. Not having sex with strangers on Tinder, not falling in love with the cutest boy on the block, but I'm talking about establishing these deep ritualistic routines. And one would say, I can't do that with my partner. I'm single. Why can't you love yourself ritualistically? Why can't you make love to yourself ritualistically? Why can't you put yourself in these positions with the mindset of establishing something deeper of an experience? Why? Why am I saying this? Because generally one would neglect love, right? I'm so happy that I'm single, right? I'm so happy that I'm celibate. And then the one part, oh, it feels good to be sober. You know how much drugs is produced in the world and how much drugs get transferred and how many people is doing drugs? I think we're back. So people might say, well, Hood, I don't do drugs. I'm what about this aesthetic or I don't know what's happening, family. I keep going. The internet connection keep going in and out. And usually it's like something that happens late at night, but it's doing it in the morning. So I'm going to keep my eye on it and figure out. For now, we're good. So we will see how this thing goes, because which one of y'all is in control of the internet? If any of y'all is in control of the internet, please let me know. Because the internet do be tripping, especially when you trying to share information. So let me go ahead and record just in case. Let me go ahead and record this episode, man. This episode is brought to you proudly by me and my family. So if you like me and my family, please feel free to support in any way possible. $1, $2, no dollars. Like, share, subscribe. All help is considered because we tuning in to the pitch in with your energy that you then think about ways to contribute to people over time. Now, we tend to look at the skimmers and the scammers and imagine that those are the ones that have it all, and in order to be at the top of the top, that we have to skim and we have to scam as well. But the reality of going the extra mile on the road less traveled is that you have to understand that you have to build brick by brick with integrity, honesty, and real energy, right? So how can you contribute to the world? How can you contribute to your relationships? How can you contribute to your professional endeavors in a pure, honest, and realistic way? Otherwise, you in some take-in shit. You trying to take from people, and you don't even realize it. When you say, and I'm triggering people today, I forgot to tell you, so that's probably why the internet will go in and out this time today, for sure. Because people gonna be mad. If you telling me the type of energy that you already expected before you get into a relationship, then you're also telling me that your mind isn't going to be open to even support that person. What I'm saying is, how do you claim to be spiritual, but then claim to say that I need a person like this or a person like that? Now, I don't care. Have your standards, have your preferences, but what it's actually doing is removing your purity. It's making you become disingenuous in your relationships. And when you become disingenuous, there's something about it that becomes a self-defeating switch to whereas you won't even talk to people, right? You already know that the situation ain't gonna work out before you even meet the guy, before you even meet the girl, because you have a standard. That means that you're impure, to which your ability to be pure is also your ability to attract, to which your purity is a magnet, to which if you have trouble with attracting relationships, attracting money, that means that you haven't built brick by brick with integrity, with honesty, and you just looking for a get rich quick scheme in the realms of spirituality. Okay? And it's very important to look at your partner. It's very important to look at the world around you. It's very important to look at your business, look at your job, and think specifically, how could I help this situation? If it's stuff on the floor, this is Capricorn, this is Obatala energy, this is purity. If there's stuff on the floor, you just don't walk past it, because that's dirty. That's not pure. Thank you, Eileen. Really do appreciate that. Yes. The mystics we're here for business. We do accept donations. Anything can help, because part of this broadcast is specifically to give and just to see where the energy is. If the energy ain't worth shit, if I'm giving energy and if I'm giving content that's not worth nothing, then I'll get that in return. But if I'm giving something of value, if I'm giving something that's giving you a boost, then it's not you specifically that I'm expecting anything for, but from the universe. I'm specifically thinking of bringing about spiritually conscious content for the spiritual beings in a world where you're not getting that. You're getting Kevin Samuels. You're getting the women talk, right? Men and women talk is not spiritual talk. That is specifically prison talk. If your body is your shell, then your body is also the prison. Now we have to change our prison to our temple, to our chapel, but we gotta understand the difference, meaning that we have to have conversations specifically to spiritual truth if it hurts, even if it hurts rather. Because if we do not have these particular conversations, thus we go into our relationships not having the conversations and just wishing everything it works out. But then also understand that what you want is take energy, what you're hoping to take from a person. And this person doesn't even exist. So if you're like, I just can't never date a man like this, meaning that you haven't even met a guy, or a woman, right? I need a girl with a fat booty, and you're sitting at home. What I'm saying is, like, imagine a video game. If you're like in an area, the rest of the world isn't created yet, but you could actually dictate the world that's going to happen based on how you move, how you go throughout the game. So life is the same way, where if you want it, say you want it, but then also you would have to actually know how to get it, right? You actually would have to know how to establish it. And I'll just give an example to make it sound a little bit clearer and plain. You would never say, I know how to build a house because I watched another person build a house. I grew up around a person who built houses, so I just magically know how to build houses. You would have had to have instruction at some point. So when we get into our relationships, when we start our businesses, when we get into our professional life, when we look at our world, we assume that because we observe it, that we know its function. But that's further from the case, meaning that your relationship is a matter of work. Your business is a matter of work. The world around you is a matter of work. And you can sit there as acting as if the world did something against you, your boyfriend did something against you, your profession did something against you, meaning that if you say I'm gonna be a painter, it's millions other painters, right? And since there's millions other painters, that means that there's competition, meaning that you gotta actually put in the effort and energy to be the best painter, or else people gonna overlook your paintings, cuz that's just how it works. But if you painting because you want a specific response and that you're not trying to bring out that deep energy from within yourself, then you in it for the wrong reasons. So once again, Capricorn energy is pure energy. That's why only a certain few is able to be successful out here in the world. There's only a certain few that's successful out here in their relationships, because the person who's successful in the world is the person who asks questions. The person who's successful in their relationship is the relationships that have the conversation. Oh, I like shit like this. Oh, I like shit like that. Well, how can I help you get shit like this? Well, how can I help you get shit like that? You know what else? You know what relationships is now in real life? They're impure, they're disingenuous, so they're prisons of sadness. And I'll get into that. I have to get into that a little later. Matter of fact, get into it right now. So what do I mean by prisons of sadness? So right here, you have the 7 of this, the 7 of Santeria, right? This is the 3rd decan of Taurus. Opposed that is the 3rd decan of Libra. Taurus and Libra are opposed. The 3rd decan and the 3rd decan are opposed, meaning that the 7 of this and the 7 of air are opposed one another. In the Voodoo Tarot deck, you have Urzuli and then you have Oshun. Oshun relationships is a girl who looking at you in a realistic view and is deciding that she's gonna give you the ultimate of love. Urzuli type of love is saying, I'm only gonna love you through all of my tears, all of my anger, all of my frustration. And if you can take that, you got a great chick. If you can take my darkness, you got a great chick. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just showing you the opposites of energies for which They exist. But when you have a Mercury retrograde, then you have to reconcile within your own inner Oshun, your own reality of desiring ecstasy, because we talking about we spiritual. We talking about we gods. Well, what do gods get? Gods get money? No. Regular Thomas Joe Schmo can get money if you work 2 jobs. You get you a guy. You know how many people hiring? You can get a job, fam, and get some money. You do not have to listen to me. Matter of fact, listening to me is probably blocking up your money flow for real, because there's hella jobs out there hiring. You need to go fill out some applications. Maybe listen to me while you fill out applications if money is your problem. To which, I'm sure that money is not our problem, because we already got the money, and that's what really drove you crazy. That you sacrificed and you gave everything for something that wasn't even going to give you a damn foot massage. Wasn't even going to give you a back massage, a neck rub. And we talking about intimacy within our relationships too, because that ain't happening. Cause I need the ladies in the relationships to tell all the other girls, hey ladies, this is what you do. You give a massage every night. You have the oil sitting on warm, and soon as he lay down after he had a hard day, you just oil his whole body down from head to toe. Right? Nah, we gotta get this money, hood. I gotta lose this weight, hood. It's up with this dude. He ain't cheat on me, but my ex cheated on me, and I'm triggered by dudes cheating on me, so I got the gun to his head. Well, sis, did he cheat on you? No, but my ex cheated on me. Hood, I don't trust her because, girls out here with fat booties be cheating on dudes. Well, did she cheat on you? No, she a good girl, but I don't trust her though. You know how girls was, they cheated on me before. So you gonna take an experience with a whole nother human being into the next relationship with a good person, but treat them like shit because you afraid of what's gonna happen in the future. To which, and this is perfectly fine with you, to mistreat the person who haven't done nothing wrong to you. This is where your Oshun energy has to be reconciled, because you have to look at that dude or that woman soberly. Do I like this person? Oh, I love this person. I need this person. Well, why do I treat them this way? But then it's not relationship. It's also professional shit. Because 10 times out of 10, you wake up and you hate your job. Meaning that the work that you produce is from a negative space. When there's other options out here, you could actually be with a woman that treats you like a king. You could actually be with a man that treats you like a queen. Wants to toss your salad every single night with different flavor. Want to actually eat his dessert off your booty hole. Where did you come from, man? Where did you come from? I'm doing a video. Voodoo. Good job. How'd you know? The day is starting weird with the mystics. I'll just start that off. Can you shut the door for me, big brother? The mystics started the day off super weird. Does your relationship deserve a fantasy? The answer is yes. Your relationship deserves a fantasy every night because you have the option to create a fantasy every night. To which you would say, no, I got shit to deal with. To which, are you actually dealing with your shit? Because the fantasy is waiting. The fantasy bus, it comes every night. And if you still gotta, you know how it is. I was that type of person, man. I can't come out tonight. 1 second. I'm on mute. That's crazy. That's been the day, man. That's been the day. That's been the morning. So this one is for the books, I'll tell you. We're just giving it some time to catch up, because generally with the delay, you don't never know. The messages will come, and then I done been talking for like 2 minutes, and then it's like, oh shit. So now that I see we're back on, I'll continue. But ultimately, please like, share, and subscribe. And I really want to tap back into this retrograde so we can get a full understanding. When you have an option at all times to choose ecstasy, the only time that you wouldn't choose ecstasy is if you're going through something. But ultimately, you might find yourself in a space that you're constantly going through shit. Like, so you can't use that always as an excuse to say, okay, I'm going through something, so let me process what I'm going through before I offer ecstasy. But another point is, have you studied ecstasy? Have you understood the ways in the deeper relationship to the other realm outside of consciousness? The realm of pleasure, the realm of getting and giving everything that you need. See, these spiritual people won't talk about this. Your mama won't talk about it. Dad won't talk about it. Because why wouldn't they talk about it? It's kind of weird to think about sex and other people having sex, especially if that's your kid, right? You never want to think about your kid ever having sex. And if you don't have the conversation with your child about sex and the ins and outs of it, I think it's probably going to be easier for me because I got boys and I'm kind of like an open book. But I can also understand how people in life just would never have the conversation in sex. And once again, if you don't have a conversation towards something and you imagine that because I observed something, I know it, how does that work? And I know that it works in your mind, but I'm talking about in a real sense. Like if you just watched an accountant crunch numbers on their computer, if you didn't know accounts receivable and accounts payable and know how to balance a ledger, watching that accountant is not going to help you. He got to actually speak into you and sow into you to say, okay, this is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how it works here. This is how it works there. Oshun energy is being able to sit and listen to your partner's desires, their deepest desires and ecstasy, and say, oh, baby, I can help you with that. Actually, I'm here for that. I live for that. In the modern relationship, it's about, can you pay the bills? Can you look decent? If you look decent, fam, and you pay the bills, your chick is gonna rock with you. But she not gonna give you nothing in return for that, because that's already expected. Understand that. But then also, in any type of relationship, and I'm trying to get out of relationships and try to get people to see that relationships are everything, everywhere. If you reference yourself as a spiritual being, that is not an excuse to suck ass. That's not an excuse to feel like shit. That's not an excuse to be drained. That's not an excuse to be happy. So many times it's so confusing to me. People reference spiritual work and then reference being drained. They reference being spent. They reference these dark times and ups and downs and roller coasters and things of that nature. But ultimately, in my spiritual journey, I've noticed a specific ascension and a specific unlimitlessness. And of course, it's not simply about me. It's about what I could give to others that are close to me, because generally I understand how the people around me support me and allow me to be me. Right? So ultimately, within my relationship, everything isn't perfect. Meaning that things have to be reconciled. How do we reconcile things? We have the conversation. And hopefully we come to an understanding, right? But ultimately, in conversations, the actual point is never reached, because the point is in ecstasy, and ecstasy can't be spoken to. Thus, ecstasy has to be understood personally, right? And then figured out how they can actually establish it within their spiritual repertoire, in their spiritual routine. Because in referencing ecstasy, you're referencing being spiritual. You're referencing being woke. You're referencing being shamanistic. You're referencing your psychic gifts. Because generally what you get in the spiritual community is not actually spirituality. Because you feel disconnected from source, because you feel like the another person is connected from source, but it's all a skim and it's all a scam. The reality is that you, in your feeling, are spiritual, and your feeling comes from a sexual place, or it comes from a DMT or high place, right? Some people say I don't need sex, but then get high as a kite, right? So they, right? Or you get drunk. Some people, I don't smoke weed. Found out you got 15 bottles of wine in your goddamn trash can. It's all the same thing. You're seeking the spiritual experience. But I'm telling you, the drugs and the drinking and the sex ain't going to do it. What's going to do it is the conversation. What conversation though? I need to bring you into my irrational world. You need to come into my world of irrationalities and see if you can get comfortable in this world, right? Because the rational world of the male is, or the masculine energy, is to provide and to support and to be invisible. Only speak when it comes to a point where you have to enforce your will or set rules or set limitations. Other than that, you just be logical. You be a leader. You be a masculine role model. But I'm saying every rational energy has an irrational side. Every yin has a yang, to which this irrational or this shadow or this spot that you don't really know much about, because you don't really give a fuck about it, because all you care about is getting money. All you care about is looking halfway decent so you can score a hot babe. This is what dudes are into. This is what a dude wants. It's this Oshun energy. But when we get into a relationship, what we really want is somebody to look at us and then to say, I want to give you ecstasy. I want to give you a fantasy. To which nobody is programmed to really do that except the high dollar hoes. But we will continue our conversation. And shout out to the high dollar escorts. Y'all are loved too. Y'all are welcome on the Hood Mystic platform too. This ain't just a good girl only platform. It's actually streetwalkers going the extra mile on the road less traveled. So this is no judgment zone. Actually, I'm here for all of the nonsense and all of the foolery and all of the buffoonery, as well as the psychological approaches to the world, our relationships, and our professional lives. I find that ratchet balance of ratchetness and spiritualness and aesthetic and integrity really works for me. But I digress. Let's talk about Mars trine Neptune. Mars is conjunct Pollux, as we can see in this document. Shout out to you, El Noble. Definitely a tap into that Ayahuasca energy, but I gotta I'm definitely doing the call-in number, Dream. I'm doing the call-in number, man. Just give me a second or two to get through this message. Got about like 10-15 more minutes worth of message, and I'm gonna see what the people feeling like out there. We need the Pombagiras. We need that energy. I'm telling you, we need that energy because the strip clubs is full of married men, ladies and gentlemen. The brothels is full of married men. If it wasn't for married men, these high dollar hoes would get no business, meaning that the single man don't even got no money. Single man don't got no purpose. The single man actually trying to get him a boo, a real girl. The married dude already secured that. He just looking for ecstasy, okay? The married man is still looking for ecstasy. And that's the problem. He doesn't necessarily have to look for ecstasy if that was something that was on the table. But like I said, if you are a stake and you get nailed to the ground and you can't go nowhere, people not going to appreciate you. They gonna hammer you down, make sure you don't go further. That's just the way that it goes. So where we think that if we do this and we do that, we'll get this level of ecstasy, we then have to deal with the Oshun retrograde. But we also have masculine energy, Mars energy, trine, the spiritual Pollux. Real quick, Castor is the physical energy of Gemini. Pollux is the spiritual energy of Gemini. Thus, Gemini tells a story of twins of human beings having a human body and a soul. So Pollux is the spiritual energy. So when you are masculine or active or aggressive towards your spiritual life, you then will understand that you need more than what you're getting. Being passive about spirituality is just kind of saying everything is okay. And it's saying that everything is okay because I can squeeze this toothpaste back into this goddamn tube. So it don't matter the type of relationships or the type of person that I am or the fact that I don't know shit about shit. Right? As long as you think I'm spiritual, that works, right? Because it's supposed to be an easy button. And that may work for a lot of people. Generally, it may work for a lot of people, but when Mars is conjunct Pollux, the message is to actively engage that spiritual energy and entity. So action. So once again, Pollux represents the mind. Castor represents the body, but the mind is all. But we generally treat our mind like a passive tool, when actually our mind is a goddamn tool shed. It has all of the tools available if we were to choose to use it. Thus, we have to, not have to, but I would suggest a psychological approach. Meaning that a soul-led approach to the world, to your relationships. Because when you get into the energy of the soul, you get into the energy of everything perfect. And the thing about perfection is tied into a spiritual experience, but spiritual is not watching me on YouTube or anybody on YouTube. It is not listening to a nigga bore you to death on a lecture. Spirituality is getting in that good gushy. I'm talking about that good gushy, and I'm talking about that good swivel hip love making ecstasy. You might have another person there with you rubbing your back or licking your back if you get into that, but your level of ecstasy can be denied. It can be shut off. Or you could be engaging with people who want to live on that level with you. But these are things that you need to understand within yourself. But then you're not having these conversations in your relationship of his world. And he don't give a fuck about the news or the TV or nothing. He know what he gonna get by what he's putting in. And to revert, when you get into psychological studies and understanding, you realize that nobody else is into the psychological. Thus, everybody is dealing with a level of tension, that Castor and Pollux. Thus, the overall consensus towards Geminis is that they're crazy. However, you can also say that Geminis are our best artists. Thus, when you unify your spiritual and your physical energy, you become that much more powerful, because the average human being, 99.9% of the people out there, don't even realize that they even have a soul. Not in an active, tangible way. They might reference their soul as a concept, but I'm referencing your soul as a tool to establish ecstasy. And don't say that you don't want ecstasy, because the last time I checked, you tuned into the goddamn restaurant, you cooked in the food that you wanted, you tried to get the girl that you wanted or the guy that you wanted, because you figured that they were going to give you that ecstatic experience. But the reality is that they didn't, because they didn't have the conversation or even knew that they could do that. They thought they had to get through their shit. They thought they had to listen to people get spiritual on YouTube before they can get spiritual themselves. Azaka is traveling too. He's looking for opportunities because he understands his skill set. Thus, do you understand your skill set? Do you understand where you're trying to go? And if you don't understand your skill set and you don't understand where you're trying to go, you're trying to latch on to somebody and pray and pray and pray that they be your salvation. And as we deal with this, I want to set the tone. I want to set the attention and the overall vibration. You could wake up every morning and establish a relationship with your intuition. You could say, I hear you. Can we get that in the comments? Can you listen to your intuition? Can you say, I hear my intuition? It's still early in the day. It's still hood in the morning. Don't listen to me. Listen to your intuition. Can you tell your intuition, I hear you? Before you get out the house, before you start your day, you talking about a Neptune transit into Pisces as this energy gets in. And trust me, Pisces, Gemini, mutable energies. And when we look at mutable energies, we're specifically talking about the merging of the soul in the humanity, right? I need you guys to hear your intuition. Because if you listen to your intuition, not in the middle of the day, I'm talking about before you roll your ass out of bed, right? I hear you. I'm going to hear you. I'm listening. I'm tuned in, right? Beginning of every day, right? Because who's going to guide you? Who's going to tell you? Who's going to tell you what it is out here? Please don't please don't tune in and tap into me and text me every hour on the hour. Hood, what should I do? Hood, you said go the extra mile and the road less traveled and it's lonely here. Well, it's the road less traveled. It's not the road more traveled. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing and understand that you're unique. However, you need to put the effort in. Understand that your relationship is unique. Your relationship requires your ego to get put to the side. It requires you to tune in and tap in to purely be in that relationship for the betterment of your partner. And hopefully your partner feels the same way about you. Going the extra mile. This is from Napoleon Hill. He got, I don't know, top 10 list by Napoleon Hill. I don't know this book, Success or How to Get Rich or something. You know how them boys be. I have the book. to make sure that you'll never be poor again. I'm gonna start with going the extra mile with a quote by Napoleon Hill. I'm combining two concepts that have been really instrumental for me in my spiritual journey, putting them together and bringing forth a creative expression from my heart to yours. But this is the quote. You can start right where you stand and apply the habit of going the extra mile by giving more service and better service than you are now being paid for. And since I do a lot of business out here in these streets, I'm not gonna make no promises to be like, oh, if I didn't please you, I'll make it up to you, or no shit like that. Like, I can't, because y'all might come out the woodworks like, Hood, you owe me. But ultimately, from this point forward, I'm making the personal declaration to myself to give more, right? To push it, because I know where I'm at in this. I know where I'm at in this world, and I'm not at the top, but I'm in my Capricornian energy, and I can't chill. I can't relax. I need to go the extra mile all the time. But within that, I have to own my joy. I have to own my meditation, and then I have to be in the energy of gratitude. I'm so grateful for everything that has happened up to this point. How could I ever take a moment off? And I know everybody is not at that level, but trust me, if you got anything to be grateful for, that's the energy of ecstasy. Because if your partner are you grateful for your partner? Then talk to them. Get to know what they want and what they need at an intimate level. Understand their irrational world, because generally when they brought up their irrational world to you, you gave them negative energy. You got mad at them and said, boy, that's irrational. Girl, that's irrational. You can't be irrational. I need you to be rational. You can't have no breakdowns mentally, even though I'm the person that's causing your mental breakdown. I need you to hold it together. I need you to be happy that you're not happy. I need you to be happy that you're not happy now. Pull it together. And let's just say the spiritual journey is the road less traveled. And because we're traveling on the road less traveled, going the extra mile is a requirement. Going the road less traveled means that you're going to be independent. Meaning that you and your partner have to be independent if you're spiritual. Because your spirituality is going to bring about multiple partners and multiple vibrations. And if your partner ain't rocking the same way you rocking, they're going to be looking at how you move, and they're going to be jealous. They're going to be crying. They're going to become your prison. Thus, the road less traveled is a freeing road. So you got to really think about, hey, I'm a spiritual being and I'm in this relationship with this person. How did that work? Well, when I want to act out in my spiritual life, they get mad. So I don't do anything spiritual, meaning that I don't do anything to bring about ecstasy, because I'm more in the space of obligation and conformity and making this person happy. Are they ever happy? No, but that's besides the point. Because I'm referencing this spiritual journey because we always like to call ourselves gods. God this, I'm a god that. Peace, God, 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 God. Hallelujah. But let's talk about ecstasy. I've been saying it a lot. Let's talk about it. Ecstasy is reserved for the gods. Ecstasy is the divine gift that will lift you out of ordinary life into the higher realms of understanding. Can we talk about offering ecstasy and joy to our partners, or is it simply about the money a man has for you or the clothes that your wife washes? I love you because you wash and fold my clothes, girl. You are so beautiful to me. How you be scrubbing them plates and stuff like that in your apron, and you cook dinner every day. Oh, I love you so much. That's fake love to me. And because it's fake love, After she done washing the dishes, after she done scrubbing the plates and the pots, she going to crack open that bottle of wine and read that Zane book. Read that Zane book. Might pull out the Dildo 5000 with the supercharged batteries. Right? Y'all don't ever talk about the type of dildos y'all be buying. We need a group chat. Cause this is shadow work right now. This is shadow zone. Cause a lot of times we're talking about ecstasy and generally we're unfulfilled. And we're doing a whole bunch of things that may seem like they're gonna fulfill us, but they toss your salad. No? You're probably gonna be bored with it over a certain amount of time, because when you're talking about spiritual energy, you're talking about a feeling, an experience. Last time I checked, I be getting a lot of information from y'all videos. I be taking wonderful notes, but I still be scratching my head at the end of the day. I know never mind. We're not gonna talk about Tatalicious today. We always talk about Tatalicious. Hey, girl. So Taurus energy deals with values and possessions and shmoney and things of that nature. And you can have that, but what about ecstasy? So tell me, riddle me this, Batman. What does a man or woman do with all the money in the world, all the security in the world, all of the prosperity in the world, all of the investments in the world, all of the cryptocurrency in the world? Get home, money made, bed made, sitting on that couch, bank account on swole. What the fuck you gonna do? Buy a boyfriend? Buy a girlfriend? No, you're gonna get addicted to something. You gotta get that minor ecstasy that aren't ecstasies at all. But you not processing it, you not having no conversation on it, you just in the realms of getting the bag, getting the material taken care of, and that's what you were taught. You even had conversations and took a couple of classes on that. And then we're bored and we have resources. Might be a little cute too. Say, hey, you cute, you sexy, okay. But I'm not satisfied, so let me be spiritual. Let me be spiritual, and let's not talk about sex. Let's not talk about love. Let's not talk about drugs. Well, what kind of spiritual is y'all talking about? Because I'm so confused now. What are y'all doing? Y'all really... And where we feel people who aren't outside of the spiritual elite aren't spiritual because they don't teach classes and, you know, wear funny hats and say funny words and, you know, do weird presentations and shit like that. We feel like them people ain't spiritual, yet and still most people indulge in drugs or alcohol. Liquor stores everywhere, in your grocery store. You got mind-altering substances everywhere, but the all is mind, though. What if I told you Auntie the crackhead was the most spiritual person in your family? What if I told you Uncle Roro, standing on the corner, was really supposed to be the village shaman? What if I told you before crimes and chemicals that drugs were spiritual devices that allowed you to see different realms? But your smart spiritual ass can't see beyond the electromagnetic spectrum whatsoever. So these spiritual entities and these dark magic entities is all around you, but you can't see them, and you don't even feel like it's a problem to it. I say my wife is spiritual because she's got the orgasmic repertoire. She got the orgasmic catalog. She'll tell you all about the orgasmic life. The multiple orgasm, the squirting orgasm, the clitoral orgasm, the G-spot orgasm, all types of orgasms. Because my intention is ecstasy, whether she knows it or not. You just got to be in sync with that energy. Got to give it back. And this is the work. Because I imagine that if we were poor, if we were rich, I still would be in love with my wife. If we were fat or if we were skinny, I would still be in love with my wife. If we were in business or I had to go to get a job tomorrow, I would still be in love with my wife, because it's about ecstasy. It's about purity. It's about harmony. It's not about forcing something to be. It's about, I don't care about anything besides the deeper levels of ecstasy. That's why I may seem somewhat short in our conversations, because if you're not intentional with ecstasy giving, what are you intentional on giving? Nothing. You are a taker, and that's fine. You just need to find another energy that is aligned to your vampiric, parasitic ways. Because I'm trying to unite in the most spiritual sense, and I know spirituality is found in sex and ecstasy. And I also know people not ready for those conversations. See, I'm not trying to hit nothing or have sex with nothing, but if we're going to talk, we're going to talk. Don't waste my time, I won't waste yours. But we're in the realm of harmony. The G-spot orgasm, the clitoral orgasm, the multiple orgasm. Intentional, like, guys, be intentional with your wife. Be intentional with pleasing her. And then have the conversations on what pleases you. Don't be afraid to say what pleases you, because if she doesn't fuck with that, that's cool. But never ever forsake what you feel, because that's your spirit. This is why you say men aren't spiritual, because they don't get anything in reference to spiritual energy. I'm talking about intentional ecstasy. Ain't no nigga ever had no conversation from a girl telling her that she wanted to be intentional with the ecstasy that she is providing. She would then reference how the guys in the past done did her wrong. And it might be on the vice versa on the other side, but ladies, don't get triggered and worry about what men not doing on the wrong side. Be intentional with the ecstasy to the person that you are going to meet that's perfect for you. Stop imagining that if I start talking about energies and then you start saying, well, guys is like this. You haven't even met him yet. What are you talking about? Well, the dating market is, well, stop dating if it's bad. Do something different. Be intentional first and see how that goes. Don't wait for me to show up and then say that I'm going to then inspire you to be a certain way, because you may not even be able to do it. But if you're intentional from the beginning, then you know for a fact that you've mastered your spiritual energy. I'm going to digress and then I'm going to end, but it's very interesting for a woman to meet a stranger and have sex with them. That's so strange and weird. However, there's people that do it every day, multiple days. You could just call a woman and she doesn't know you from shit, from Adam, and you could be intimate with them. But I'm saying all of this to say that the power of ecstasy will have you have sex with a stranger, and that's weird on top of weird. So not only are drugs illegal, but they're being studied, especially in Michigan, but all over the country. Make sure you tap in to these medicinal, ritualistic tools. And my thing is, don't overindulge. Don't get no shrooms and take a whole pack of shrooms as soon as you get them. Take a little bit at a time. Like a little bit at a time, right? So much so, like a crumb even. You feel me? Like not even nothing for nothing, right? Like it's a dang on seed or something. And understand that there are other energies and realms that reference spiritual truth. But if you're trying to be the best person and trying to be the best listener to YouTube people, you're probably further away from your spiritual journey than you probably even imagine, right? Because the idea is that you have to listen to your intuition and you have to hear it. You may need some tools, right? You may need a partner that's willing to meditate with you. You may need a partner that's willing to love you. Because until I met a woman that sincerely loved me, I never felt that that was possible. And if I didn't have that balance, I couldn't really stand in shit. And maybe that's just me. But also having the conversations towards sex and making sure that you are being pleased. Making sure that the ecstasy is there, because you got one partner. Y'all go to sleep tonight and y'all just be like, well, tomorrow we might do it big, or it's his birthday coming up, we might do something later. No. You always be Good job. Good job. It's really important to begin this love cycle now. You want this shirt on? Okay, let's take this shirt off. Changing shirts, man. As I reference my 3. My wife is 1. I'm 1. And when we come together, no pun intended, we create 3. And it's a beautiful thing, man. Like having babies and children made of love. And I know like children for people is crazy, but I'm gonna tell you another crazy thought. We can go on the ride in a second. Give me a second. You could live your whole life caring about somebody else and be okay with that. And a person may look at you like, damn, you don't care about yourself. You worried about other people, or you only care about yourself, or you don't care about yourself. But that's a different mentality. To completely remove yourself and to give your energy to your children, because the reality of what I'm realizing is that I'm not going to be here forever, and I may want to continue some things. So developing and building a relationship with my children are essential, but it's beautiful and easy to do these things when your children are made out of love. Please, oh please. Colombian Exchange is the website. Chakra Nova is available. I don't necessarily know if people like it or not. I need more reviews. Need them reviews, family. Colombian Exchange. I can send you the review form. Please review it. Even if you hate the book, I don't care. I might not post your review, but at least let me know so I could grow. But we also have the herbs and the steams on ColombianExchange.com. Shadow work course June 26th. Really excited about that, and really wanted to get this video done so I could begin putting the final touches on that course, because I like to work on the handbook before I work on the actual course. Because if anybody has taken a course from me, it's not a course if you do not have a handbook. So we will bring the handbook to the masses when you do sign up. So If anything, even if you don't like the course, you will probably enjoy the handbook because the handbook is really lit. Just another perk of signing up for the shadow work course. As you know, I treat this spiritual shit very seriously, like a job, because it low-key is. But part of my job is to take these children on joyrides and park visits, and that's the job that I'm about to do right now. So definitely going to tap back in later in the week for the call-in show. I got it set up, but the way that this connection is working, I don't want to set it up and people be losing connection and things like that. So I'm gonna get this boy dressed. John, we going to a park today?
Yeah.
Mr. John said we're going to the park. So, John, say bye to the people.
Bye.
You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning.